Hi, I'm Al, and I'm here with Brandon.
Hello there.
How's it going, man?
It's good, Al.
Yeah. Well,
how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing great.
Evening.
I'm doing great.
Roll Tide.
Roll, Dad.
And your hat.
Yeah. So,
I know you love sports. Speaking of sports, where's Ryan?
Who cares?
Yeah. Touche.
He decided.
Touche.
He decided he was a Hawks fan. Never.
Gotta love him.
Oh, I tell you what. If there's a bandwagon, so yeah. So Brandon, anything new happening in your world that that we should talk about? Because
my world. My world.
Why don't we talk about
all kinds?
Why don't we talk about what we've watched? Why don't we just go ahead and start off with that?
You want to? Oh, we're gonna play it. We're gonna go backwards.
Yeah, we're gonna go backwards.
Well, why don't we tell people where to find us first? Ryan, why don't you take that for us?
Oh, hang on. All right. So
yeah.
So what you want to do is so right? You want to like catch us on all of our social platforms? There we go, brah. And we got a Patreon because yeah, brah. So we're at CiNEMACHiNEpod.com. Yeah. Check us out. We're cool.
It's eerily similar.
Too long.
Eerily.
I can't do it. So that's where we are. Yeah, let's go a little backwards tonight. Let's do it out of order. Machete
okay.
this
we're all out of whack anyway, so
it's okay.
We miss you, Ryan. We feel hurt that you're choosing basketball over us, but what are you gonna do? I'm
Irish. I hold a good grudge. So
anybody that's listening, you make sure to let Ryan know that you missed him and you're very disappointed that he chose sports over movies.
Yes. You have failed us for the last time. No, we wish you well. Hope your team
go Hawks, I guess.
Nope. If there's one thing, I know you don't like sports, Brandon, but I cannot stand basketball. It is just so we are simpatico on this one. So
I know basketball is the one that I like.
I was about to say, yeah. I know you like MMA and such.
Yeah.
But I know basketball is the one that out of the major sports that you can tolerate. Yeah. So anyway,
if we're already doing what we've been watching, then I might as well go ahead and throw this up for Ryan.
That's Ryan in the costume, by the way.
Yep. Ryan loves sports more than us and you.
Yeah.
Sad but true.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah.
Sorry. Can't. Just
yeah.
Well, both my parents rejected me. I guess it's okay if my friends do. So I'm just kidding.
The show must go on, Al. What are you gonna do?
Oh,
because we're gonna talk about what we've been watching.
Have a better show.
Debatable. We'll see.
I'm kidding. Of course, we're fine without him. I'm glad you're dead.
We don't need you.
So, all right, let's go ahead and talk about what we've been watching. Just kind of loosen things up tonight. Brandon, what have you been watching?
Well, I actually watched a few things this week. One of the things I watched was actually a new release that came out on Friday. Mm-hmm. Came out on Netflix.
Oh, I heard about this.
It is. It's called Good on Paper. It's Eliza Schlesinger, I think is how you say her last name.
Yeah, this is her. This is based on that true story about the Yale guy, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Or
I remember her telling the
said
story
he was from Yale.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah,
not from Yale.
I threw the quotes up, but the graphic was up. Yeah, I remember her telling the story on Rogan. So
yeah,
what'd you think of that?
She was on there again last week talking up the movie and such. So I was like, yeah, I'll give this a shot. I haven't watched a comedy in a while, and it's something Melissa would be into, so we watched it. It was fine. It wasn't great. It wasn't bad. It wasn't funny necessarily, but it was like I expected it to be. What it felt like was I could see like it felt like stand up trying to be a movie. Like as far as the jokes were very like monologue-y stand up jokes. Yeah, I could see that. It definitely didn't fall into like the promising young woman revenge territory. But I didn't not like it. I thought it was fine. It's not something that I'll return to, but for like, for
disposable Netflix movie.
Disposable Netflix movie. She actually impressed me acting wise. I thought she was really good. It's got the guy that plays the boyfriend is the guy from Party Down. I don't remember his name.
He's good in a bunch of stuff. He's always the goofy, good looking blonde guy. He's always the same character. So.
Yeah. But I mean, it was a serviceable little comedy that, if you have time to kill, you want to watch something new. The story is interesting because it's based on loosely based on her life. It's interesting as well in that regard. But I think it's one of those things that I feel like maybe it works better as a stand-up story short form than an hour and a half movie, maybe.
Okay.
But yeah, that is good on paper, and it's on Netflix.
And his name is Ryan Hansen. I just looked it up. I always forget his name, but he's been
Ryan Handsome.
Handsome. There you go.
They try. It's funny too because he's like a pretty boy in real life, and they try and like ugly him up a little bit, give him like slicked, like comb over type haircut, and they give him buck teeth.
Oh, really?
And so it's like kind of over the top comical how they try and like ugly him up. They make him they try and make him overweight, so they give him like a pillow stomach. And the rest of his body is like in shape, but his stomach's a little pudgy.
Yeah, they want you to hate him from the beginning, so that it can feel good. So, yeah, I always find that funny when they try to put glasses on a real pretty girl, and they're like, "She's a nerd." It's like, nope, she's not a nerd.
Oh, Jane, she's got glasses and a ponytail. She got paint on her overalls. Great movie.
Well,
not another teen movie, if you're not aware.
I'm not aware.
Okay. Well,
never seen it.
There you go.
All right. So what else did you watch?
Well, I watched something that's been on my list for quite a while now. And
RoboCop?
I watched Punk Truck Love.
Oh my gosh. On Criterion, nonetheless.
Yeah, I did.
What did you think?
And you know why I watched it?
Why?
Melissa said, "You want to watch Punch Drunk Love?" I saw it on the counter or the shelf where the Blu-rays are. I was like, "What made you pick that one?" She was like, "I don't know. The kids were looking through movies earlier, and I saw it, and it's got love in it, so maybe it'll be good."
It's just that simple. Well, I'm very excited about this. So, what'd you think?
Well, I'm glad I watched it.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was okay. I thought it was technically good. I can see why people going into that movie at the time, Sandler kind of being one of his first serious movies. He's definitely good in it. Mm-hmm. I don't know, and maybe you can kind of relay to me why you like it so much, but for whatever reason, it kind of drug for me in parts. I thought the cast was good pretty much all around, but there's a lot of one takes in it. Notice that. I know that you like your one takes. But I didn't. It's one of those things where enjoyed it on technical levels, performance wise, but it's not really something that I would ever return to. So I don't know. What's your vibe on? Obviously, it's your. Let me borrow it.
I find this movie to be very. I think it's hilarious in parts. It's not slapstick by any stretch of the imagination, but it's PTA, so I appreciate PTA. And also, I mean, dude, you just have the cast. I mean, the cast is awesome. I thought that, it was weird to see Adam Sandler whenever I saw this the first time in that type of role. But I thought they used him correctly. His fits that he would have, and I have sisters, so I kind of related to that. Him having all the girls in his family, and he's kind of like just pressed down and stuff like that. Like, he's just supposed to keep it together, and if he says one word out of place, it's like, oh my gosh, what are you doing? But I personally find the scene where I don't want to spoil it for anybody, so spoilers. When Philip Seymour Hoffman comes in at the end, talking about, whenever he's trying to like settle up the deal or whatever that they've been talking about and everything.
Yeah,
I just find that to be one of the funniest scenes I've ever seen. I don't know why. It's just I find it so fun. And when he goes out and gets the little piano. I haven't seen this in a couple years, so I am kind of talking out of my memory. But when he goes and gets the little piano off the street, and I don't know, I just found it there. I found it to be more of a realistic kind of love story than most like romantic comedies.
Feels like it was supposed to be an ironic, like they flipped that whole, like they had this very sappy love story music.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it seems more ironic and on the nose than, which is probably intentional, I assume.
They were definitely, thumbing their nose at all of that. But, this is a movie I've seen quite a few times. I'd say at least 3 or 4 times. And really, I saw it in the theater actually, and I really enjoyed it. I really liked Magnolia, which was PTA as well. And that movie is so just heart-wrenching. And I'll even say Tom Cruise is pretty good in that movie. I like Tom Cruise in movies like that and in Rain Man and like the dramas, straight dramas. I'm not big into the Tom Cruise action hero guy.
Sure.
But yeah, I don't know. I don't think it's because it is PTA, but I do find myself drawn to his movies. Phantom Thread was one of my favorite movies a few years ago, and I just tend to like his movies. I don't know. They feel similar to how you guys watch comic book movies and they feel comfortable to you, and or just anything that you watch. But I'm just saying I'm using comic books for this exercise here. But how you guys use those like the Snyder Cut and stuff, and you feel comfortable it's like a warm blanket or sleeping bag or whatever. I don't know. I find PTA's movies like that. Like The Master is fantastic to me. I could go on and on about his movies, but I think it's just that I like the way he captures the human spirit, and I liked the characters, not only the actors, but I liked the characters in the movie, and the whole pudding cup thing, getting the miles and all that stuff. That was actually a real thing that happened. Right. So yeah, there's all sorts of little, it's kind of coming back to me now that we're talking about it, but I don't know. I like the music in the movie. The way they use that, the coloring, the color.
That part I could do without personally. I just felt like it was, I don't know. I don't understand why it was there. When you say coloring, I'm meaning like the transition with the crazy vibrant colors. Mm-hmm. I do like a lot of his movies. Like I love There Will Be Blood.
That's a great
Boogie Nights. Boogie Nights is one that I need to return to because I haven't seen it in a long time.
See, I'm one of the few that I like Boogie Nights just fine when I saw it. but that movie makes me uncomfortable, so I don't like to watch it as much. I don't like to watch it really.
Oh, come on, man, get uncomfortable.
Uncomfortable. I like being uncomfortable, but as far as his movies go, I like the There Will Be Bloods and movies that are a little more. I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm not saying that that's a bad movie, but yeah. So anyway, go ahead. Please continue.
No, well, I was gonna say the music, the actual like, not the love type music, but the drummy type of music that they had reminded me a lot of Birdman, and it was coupled with a lot of long no cut sequences, one takes. So that also gave me that vibe as well. And obviously this came out before Birdman, but
yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, here's the thing. I think that this is one of those movies that you should at least see, you know. I think it's like the movie Her, and there's a few others out there that are in the same kind of vein that are just miserable love stories. But at the same time, the love in the movie is actually really sweet, you know, but everything surrounding the actual love story is miserable. And you know, it feels autobiographical.
It was interesting. It was, I mean, I will say it was an interesting, as far as the plot itself, having these two juxtaposing, like this love story on one side and then this scandal on the other side, was interesting. I do feel like, I don't know. I love Philip Seymour Hoffman, but I felt like they just let him riff and didn't write much for him.
I loved it.
And it came across as yelling and not really like substantial to me. And that's hard to say because I think he's brilliant, but I just didn't. It was one of his performances. I was like, felt like he was a little wasted.
Well, I mean, I will say this. This movie came out in the early 2000s, like 2001 to 4, maybe. I can't remember exactly what year. But I just remember it also could have been where I was. I was living in LA. I was relatively young, and I was just kind of getting in. Like I was for a couple years before this movie, I was really into like independent cinema. And this was one of those ones that, to me, at the time, knocked it out of the park. Now, I will say this, in comparison to what PTA has done in the last decade or so, his last few movies, this one is lower on the list for me now. But I think that's signs of a good filmmaker. He continues to grow as a filmmaker, you know, so his stories now are more complex. This story was complex, but not as complex as There Will Be Blood or Phantom Thread or The Master or anything like that. So I do highly suggest everybody watch it. Now, I want to ask you this. You watch this on Criterion. This is what, your third movie to watch on Criterion. How was the transfer, all that stuff to you?
Yeah, well, I mean, it was all good. I don't really have anything to compare it to because I haven't seen it in any other format.
Right. But
I mean, I thought it was good.
Yeah, they take good care.
I mean, as I assume this was shot on film, it was very filmic, a lot of swimming grain, and the audio transfer was really good. They had a lot of directionality with the drum motifs, which was cool. But
yeah, no, I actually want to watch it again now. I would be interested because I think it's probably been about 4 or 5 years since I've seen this movie, to be honest with you. And I got really excited when it came out on Criterion and went all in. It only came out a couple years ago. I did watch it when it came out on Criterion. So it was a little sooner than that I watched it. But anyway, yeah, I say it's this is my theory on this, is that at least you watched it to know if you liked it or not, you know? And I think I think everybody should watch PTA movies personally and see if you like them or not, because he's a good storyteller.
Yeah. No, that's what I was trying to convey. Like, I really am glad that I watched it. It's been one. I'm pretty sure that I started this movie when it came out on DVD, like years and years ago, and just never continued with it. Yeah, I mean, Melissa was she was not. She was
just like, this isn't my kind of love.
She basically used your stinker terminology. She was like, because last night we went down to watch something, and I was like, "What do you want to watch?" She was like, "Not something like we just watched last night." I was like, "Okay."
Hit or miss. Yeah. So you try,
but
not everything's for everybody.
Thank you for letting us borrow it. I know that we've had it for over a year now.
I've still got your Memento, so I got to get that back to you.
Yeah. I will say this. Mm-hmm. You did on your Criterion corner, you did a plastic sleeve protection video. And so this one had one of those. Mm-hmm. Those things are freaking annoying after they've been used once, trying to get them back in, because the sticky thing is still.
I throw it away and just get a new one.
Well, yeah, I assume so, because it took me 10 minutes to get that thing back in the thing. I was getting so frustrated. I was like, "Dadgummit, Al."
You don't even have to put it back in that. I appreciate the effort, but yeah, no, I I have so many because I bought them for you as well.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, whatever. Nobody else is gonna use them, so I just throw them out. I just discard them as soon as I use them.
Well, that's good to know. I didn't know if that's something that you did or not. I was trying to keep it in the same condition that it was given to me.
Probably got 300, 400 of them. So yeah, they're just sitting here in stacks. So, and got some more flack about it when I did put out that video. So I stand by it though. It's great. It's great. I stand by it.
People like what they like.
I like putting stuff in bags.
Be passionate about it.
I really, really like it. All right. You watch anything else? Did you watch anything that made anybody happy?
I did watch a few other things, but I'll save them for later.
All right. So I am putting out Criterion, Criterion Corner reviews left and right now. This will not be a regular thing. It'll be month of July mainly. I'll put them out on a better cadence starting in August, but we have the big sale coming up here in the next week or so. They just kind of throw it up one day. So you're just like, oh, okay, that's when it happens at Barnes & Noble. So I'm trying to get everybody aware of what they should or shouldn't buy. And I might actually combine some movies. So I've been watching a lot of my Criterion, which I love. So it makes it exciting. And I watched Videodrome. So I'm going to take a wild guess and say, Brandon, you ever seen this?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. I watched this. This is like comfort food to me. I just put it on when I'm like anything I'm doing, knitting, organizing, reading the phone book. It's just a go-to. I've always loved this Cronenberg classic.
Yeah, well, it's David Cronenberg. So Cronenberg is quite the filmmaker. He's a very niche filmmaker. If anybody else out there has seen this, please let me know. But I'm doing a full review of this. I'm doing these bite-sized reviews so everybody don't have to waste 30 minutes of their time for all of these different ones I'm putting out. You know what I mean? Because I'm putting out so many. I don't want to put out 20 or 30-minute reviews. So so that'll be coming out this weekend. And I do have a 2-for-1 in that particular. I talk about a double feature that you might want to team up with this one. So tune in for that. But I also watched a classic movie, noted in Hollywood as the most sound screenplay of all time. If you go study screenplays or whatever, that this will be referenced, and that's Casablanca. Watch that. This is probably my third, fourth, fifth time seeing this, and I absolutely love this movie. I'm a sucker for it. It's one of those movies that I don't know how you can really watch this movie and dislike it, but if you're just looking at it as a movie, I can understand if you get caught up in it's 4:3, it's made in the 40s, I think. But it's on HBO Max right now. This is a great love story. And Humphrey Bogart,
1942.
yeah, there we go. Thank you for looking that up. Humphrey Bogart and Ingrid Bergman. They just both leap off the screen, man. Humphrey Bogart's just one of those people. He's in another movie that I love called In a Lonely Place, and I don't know if you like him, great. But I was surprised that I liked him so much because I was like, nah, whatever. I always just play it again, Sam. And that's not even in the movie. Like that's one of those lines that people get wrong all the time. They misremember.
Mandela effect.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
Hey,
Nani.
Casablanca fan.
Yeah. So it's a great movie. It's one that I'll say this, it's a great movie to watch if you're just a fan or just a movie lover, period. For the screenplay aspects, it's really kind of cool to watch. How you doing, Nani? It's really kind of cool if you have a copy of the screenplay, which you can find online somewhere, to read along to see how the structure of the screenplay really is tightly written. So it's really nice. Everything has a payoff. There's no stone unturned in this movie. So I won't go on and on about it. People have talked about this movie way more intelligently than I could ever do. But yeah, it was just a lot of fun to revisit that one. So that's one I want to own one day, but they haven't put out an edition that I really felt like spending money on. They haven't really given it any kind of like special attention that I thought it needed. So
that's surprising.
Yeah, it is. But it's one of those, it's kind of like, if you want to talk about like records or books or whatever, it's one of those that people just throw out there. It's always somewhere streaming. It's just one of those movies that people are always wanting to watch because it is studied by a lot of film students. It's right up there with Citizen Kane as being studied, so it's just one of those things. So yeah, having a good time watching all these things, but I think
nice.
I think there's a lot of stuff going on in Hollywood right now that we should probably chat about. And the first thing, Quentin Tarantino has been doing the rounds of podcast recently. And yeah. I'll just go ahead and say it. I bought the book. Quentin, can we be friends?
I bought the book.
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. The book. This book's tiny. Like it's one of those old mass-produced paperbacks, and this is the only way you can get this book. They don't have I usually like to get hardback books. So it is pretty tiny to read, but I can get over that. It's only 400 pages, but he's been going around talking about that. And of course, everybody wants to talk about his movies and whatnot. And hey, what's your, 10th film going to be? And he kind of hinted that he at one time was thinking about remaking Reservoir Dogs for his final movie. So
yeah,
I know that I believe that
a weird story as far as I feel like this is just something that's like a think tank. Like I could remake Reservoir Dogs, and then he moved past it like immediately after.
Yeah,
spit it out into existence.
I think he has way more thoughts than the average human on any given moment of the day. So I'm not gonna. No, he's a brilliant person. So I believe so anyway. So I'll. But yeah,
Basically, he said that he thought he could do this movie better with in hindsight with his experience.
And he was naming some of the people he would have put in it nowadays. He said that what's the guy that plays Barry? He's the mechanic in Hot Rod, the guy from SNL. Let's not know, man.
Bill Hader. Hader. Yeah.
Yeah. And he said James McAvoy. He said Bill Hader would have been a good Mr. Pink, and James McAvoy would have been a good Mr. Orange. So I could see that, but at the same time, I love Reservoir Dogs. That's one I love it in its current state. It's a great movie. So I hope he doesn't do that. I don't think he is.
I know he mentioned, I think it was on Rogan, that he is planning to do Reservoir Dogs, like a Broadway, a play version, as well as Hateful Eight. Maybe some other ones. I can't remember. But.
I have a feeling, Hateful Eight was written as a stage play originally. And
so I always thought that he turned it into a stage play because it got leaked and he got so upset about it getting leaked that he changed it into a stage play, and then he decided to make it into a movie.
It very well could be that way. It very well could be that way. I mean, I watch Gas Pump News, so that's where I learned my information. So you just never know.
It is known.
You just never know.
Yeah. But that interview was really good. He's got another, I think, 2-hour interview with the Real Blend guys that they haven't put out yet.
And he was on
anxiously. They did that at the New Beverly.
He was on WTF, and he was on Bill Maher. So he's been making his rounds. And you know what? I liked how honest he was about everything. I'm not going to quote him on anything right now. I think you should go watch those interviews, especially the Rogan and the WTF and Bill Maher. I haven't seen the one you're talking about, but that's the one where
it's not out yet. But.
Yeah, that's the one that they were kind of saying that he was going to do as a special thing to release his book. But I don't know. I really like how he seems very settled in the idea that his next film will be his last. He said, "I've given it all I've got. You know, I've given film everything I've got." And that was one of the quotes that I took away. And
he also described Once Upon a Time as his like final like note on film, as far as like, this is the best I can do. And the next one, he said it'd be more like an epilogue. That's the way he described it, at least.
I honestly, after reading just the first few pages of the book here, I honestly feel that he'll probably get into books, because as I was ordering this, I noticed that he does have writing credit on other books from his movies. Now, I don't know, I think this is the first one he actually sat down and wrote, and this gives more details to the characters of this. But there's a Django sequel.
Nani doesn't think he's going to retire, and I tend to agree. I think he's going to get some distance from his last movie, and he's going to end up coming back, because this dude has filmmaking in his blood. Like, he's not going to be able to. I know. I get his reasoning. He doesn't want to like be the director that just puts out good stuff in the beginning and then just starts like losing steam and fades away.
Yeah, he said it doesn't get any better from here. Yeah, so he said he's a film historian, and he said he can guarantee it doesn't get any better from here. So, I speaking of Hateful Eight, I did buy this too, Brandon. Got the Hateful Eight vinyl.
I saw.
This is fantastic. It has some of the lines from the movie throughout. The packaging's beautiful. It was one that I was looking for, so pretty excited. We like to talk about physical media on here, so I thought I'd share that. Those two items that I got. So I know they're not movies, but they're movie. I have listened to the first of 2 LPs. So yes, and there's lots of posters and such in there. There's 2 versions, but this version was like cheaper than the other one. But yeah, this is really nice. Well, really well made, really well put together. So, and
I will say that. Sorry,
I was just going to say it goes right in line with that program we got when we saw 70 millimeter.
Yeah. I gotta find that.
Yeah, I've got that. I saw it in a box the other day when I was unpacking stuff. So I might actually pop that into a frame eventually, because along with some of the vinyl and such, because I love that movie. That's my favorite by him. So it's important.
Yeah, it's one of my faves too. I will say that I've only listened to the Rogan interview in terms of the ones he's done recently.
Mm-hmm.
It really lit a fire under me to want to, because we just watched Reservoir Dogs recently,
Right.
again, Melissa for the first time. But I almost, when we sat down to watch something last night, I almost put in Jackie Brown, but because I want to watch chronologically his stuff. So I think that's on the docket. I think it's coming.
I'm always up for a Tarantino marathon. I did it early on in the lockdowns and stuff like that. We
called it Quentin Tarantino marathon.
That's good. No, I enjoyed it. It was great, and I even reported on this show early on that it was my first time seeing the Grindhouse double feature with he and Rodriguez. So, but I've since watched those again and enjoyed them more the second time. I'm not saying I didn't enjoy them the first time. Just saying I enjoyed them even more the second go around.
That's one that I also want to, because I've seen Jackie Brown and Death Proof the least out of his stuff. And hearing him talk about Death Proof, because they talked about Death Proof a good bit on the Rogan interview.
Yeah.
And it was like, man, I need to go and rewatch this because I don't remember much about this movie.
It's a fun movie. It's probably one of my, that's the thing. Tarantino is one of those people that you can compare his movies to his movies all day long, and you can sit there and have a debate on everybody's top five, and most people are going to have a different top five. Some people think Jackie Brown's the best movie he's made. A lot of people think that, and it's not high on my list. It's probably middle, maybe towards the bottom, but Death Proof is probably one of my least favorites, but out of his movies, but all of them, I still love every single one of them. And I'm one of the few people that think the Kill Bill series, like when I first saw it, I loved it, thought it was great, blah, 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 blah. But I think those two movies, in my opinion, are probably two of my least favorite of his, just because I like his other ones so much more because they settle to me better. But no, I have no problem with any movie that he's made. And that's very, very, very rare that you find somebody that you just adore everything that they've made, and even the one-offs like the Dusk Till Dawn and when he was in Desperado and, his acting and stuff like that. It's all just, I don't know. It's all funny to me, and he's made great choices. I would say Four Rooms, probably not the best, but yeah. But I like old Tarantino, and I don't know. I'm really looking forward to see what he does next. I'll be there.
Well, one of the things that he did talk about, which I didn't make a graphic for, but I did want to bring up tonight, he mentioned Kill Bill 3, and he mentioned that if he did it, it would be like a 20-year gap between Volume 2, and he would have Maya Hawke play Beatrix's daughter, and that they would have had like 20 years of peace, and then they basically get put into a situation where that peace is over and that truce is over, or whatever it is over, and they're on the run. And I would love to see that. Because I love those two movies, or that movie. He considers it one movie.
I'm not saying I don't like them. I'm just saying out of his, they're not my favorites.
Yeah. I don't think he'll do it.
I hope not. Yeah, I would like to see something original.
I could see him doing a graphic novel or a book or something.
I could totally see him doing graphic novel. Now, I really hope that he doesn't do the Star Trek thing that everybody keeps rumoring.
He's not going to do that.
I don't think so either. I just don't think he'll want to go out like that. He'll go out in a blaze of glory, and it'll be like, I think he's going to thumb some of the quotes he said about Hollywood in general, just the current state of Hollywood. And I won't quote him here. I really think he wants to kind of thumb his nose at the art form that he loves so much and what they might be doing that he doesn't agree with. So I find it very interesting. But either way, could talk about Tarantino all night. Very excited to read the book. Very excited to watch Once Upon a Time after I read the book again. But another thing that's near and dear to my heart is I grew up, my favorite band growing up was Stone Temple Pilots. And sadly, Scott Weiland passed away a few years ago, and many, many battles with drugs and everything. But they're making a movie out of his life called Paper Heart. Very good. Very good. Very good.
I was Googling images of Scott Weiland, and this one popped up. And I was like, I got to use this one.
Yeah, he looks like he doesn't want to be there. Yeah. So look at Sylvester Stallone's hair. It looks like he's wearing Hugh Jackman's wig or something. It's really strange. So well, the movie's called Paper Heart, which is strange. There we go. It's very strange for tripping on a hole in a paper heart to be the one that they use. But either way, yeah, I don't know if I'm excited about this. I don't know. I just have a feeling it's going to be like, I mean, he was a sad character behind the scenes and everything. I just watched a bunch of interviews. I told you guys a couple weeks ago with the rest of the band talking about how they're putting out their legacy albums on vinyl after the anniversaries that they all hit and everything. So, and they're about to put out Tiny Music at the end of this month. This is July at the end of this month. So, it's really sad. But I don't know that they're going to treat it with the greatest integrity. I don't know if they're just going to make him look sadder than the guy
that's basically playing him in the band now. To be him.
Jeff Gutt, I think his name is. Yeah, it's not the same, man. It is just not the same. But I don't know. I don't know if this is, I know there's a lot of money to be mined there. I'm sure his family, his many ex-wives and everybody are still pulling at him. He's got a kid now that's in a band with Slash's son and a bunch of other rock star sons. So I really wish he were around and healthy, but really sad story. So I hope they go a different route and talk about his talent more than they talk about how sad his life was, because he was super talented, great front man.
Yeah, but then you'll get the critique of it being like a very glamorized portrayal and not a warts and all type portrayal.
You can't win.
They have to. You've got to do both for it to be an accurate. You've got to show everything. So, because a lot of being that he is not alive, just depends on who's doing this. Typically, the people when I know on the Elton John one, he wanted it to be a warts and all type portrayal.
I wanted to be warts
Queen
and all.
One on the Bohemian Rhapsody, they were very cautious about portraying anything unfavorably.
I believe it'll be warts and all. I'm fine with warts and all. I just don't want them to hyper focus on the warts. I want them to also hyper focus on the band and the story. I mean, I've told you guys, but I'll tell the audience is that I wrote papers on this band in school and stuff like that. So I was that much of a fan and saw him probably 10 or 15 times. I can't remember how many times I saw him. And it was a big deal for me. So I really looked up to him and really felt bad for him when he got caught up in all that stuff. But
it was really hard seeing him towards the end, performing. Man. He was just
we watched that one video together and it was sad.
You could tell that he was not well.
Yeah, it was like watching somebody that had a cold and was highly medicated for he was he wasn't even finishing his words or anything. It was just so sad to watch. I actually watched his last interview ever the other day and he was just slurring all of his words and it was just so sad. So I like to focus on the fact that the guy was a tortured artist. I mean, he was heck of a freaking singer, heck of a musician. He wasn't much of a musician, actually. The rest of the band said. Robert DeLeo actually wrote most of the songs, but yeah, he was just, I don't know, man. I really enjoyed that guy. I had a chance. I came this close to meeting him one time. It was at Voodoo Fest in New Orleans. It was the first Voodoo Fest. And I met Robert and Dean. And then I was like maybe 2 feet away from Scott Weiland. And he walked in the opposite direction. And I was backstage because when I was walking into that show that day, I was about to buy tickets at the box office or at the gate. And this couple came up to me and said, "Hey, do you want to buy our tickets? We have backstage passes and everything. I'll give them to you for $20. And I was like, yeah. So, I was a young kid. So I was like, yeah, I want them. So went in and I was basically like Wayne's World, like, hey. So it was 311 and Stone Temple Pilots and Cypress Hill and a bunch of others. So it was great.
Biscuit.
Were they there? I don't remember.
Yeah.
Were they?
They were.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I don't remember. I honestly don't remember anything outside of those three.
They were around.
I'm sure. They always. Oh, sorry. We both tried. Oh. Yeah.
Nani likes the STP.
Yeah. I really hope so. What's your favorite album by them, Nani? Mine's Purple. Purple was my jam. Kitchenware and Candy Bars was my favorite song of all time until I grew up and heard other music. I had like really insulated myself with Stone Temple Pilots for a long time. And actually, I'll tell you this one aside and I'll get off this, but went to one concert and it was a little bitty theater and Purple. There you go. So anyway, I had about 5 or 6 friends with me and I had paper. I had a note in my pocket that said Kitchenware and Candy Bars, please. Like, please. Because I'd been to so many shows and I just wanted to hear this one song live. And so I actually get up to the stage and I hand that note to Scott Weiland. I had my friends the whole time, Kitchenware and Candy Bars, like the whole time, the whole entire show. And like I said, it was a small place. We were about 4th row back, standing room only. And they weren't hearing us because, they're on stage. Why would they hear us? So I give him that note. He reads it. He goes over to Robert. He goes, and he points at the letter. He goes over to Dean. Goes back to Eric Kretz. And then I'm like, they're going to play it. I'm like, oh my God, they're going to play it. I'm all of like 16 at the time. And Cracker Man. It wasn't Kitchenware and Candy Bars. I was like, no, I've heard this. It was heartbreaking, but at the same time, I had a blast. So, anyway,
maybe they were saying, "Can you believe this guy wants to hear this crappy song?"
This song, this guy came all the way out here. Oh man, it was terrible. I mean, I'm not one to hold a sign up at a show. I don't want to block everybody behind me. I can't stand when people do that, so I didn't do that. So I handed him a note, but I mean, I made my way. I fought my way to the front. So anyway, all right, we'll get off Al's teenage years. Oh man, we're hitting on the same thing. Yeah, it was.
You can take it. I'll let you take it.
It was pretty tragic. I'm still talking about it today, like a crazy amount of years later. So anyway, other heartbreak for Al. Warner Brothers is doing it again. They're shuffling their fall release. And Dune,
I think
it got pushed back a week,
3 weeks,
like a couple weeks. Yeah. So I can wait. As a matter of fact, when you sent this story over, I honestly thought they were pushing this 2022 at first because I kind of glanced at it. I was doing like
10/22. So
yeah. So I was like, oh my gosh. So I think I even sent back like they can't do anything right. They just don't want this movie to come out. I'm very excited about this. This is probably one of my big releases of the year. I'm most excited about. Are you? I know you're kind of excited about it. Are you as excited as I am, or are you just kind of like, I'll watch it when it comes out? Are you familiar with?
No, I'm familiar with it, like just on a surface level. As far as I've never read the book. I haven't seen it's David Lynch, right? Did the other one?
Oh yeah, it's a doozy.
I haven't seen haven't seen that one. I know that the people that like the book say it's not very, I guess, a good representation of the book. But yes, I'm excited for this movie for two reasons. The main reason being Denis Villeneuve, and the other reason being the cast, and just I guess three reasons. The trailer looks awesome. The just how the conceptual like sci-fi nature of this movie and the aesthetic just looks really cool. So I am all there for it. Now it was opening when they announced this push. Last Night in Soho was opening that same day, and then a couple days ago they announced that Soho is moving up a week, well back a week, I guess, a week later. So they probably need a little bit more distance between the two. They're wanting Soho to make a dent, but because I hope this does really well. I think it has great potential to, but Denis Villeneuve tends not to have huge box offices for whatever reason. I think Arrival was his biggest box office.
I think you're right.
But,
by a long shot. But his movies are like, they catch on later, like 2049 is heralded now as a great piece of cinema. And a lot of people even say it's better than the original. People. What's that? You're one of the people. Yeah, I would say it's better than the original. I would say that it still feels like the same world, but the world really seems advanced the way it should be advanced. But Prisoners is caught on. I mean, so many of his movies, and I don't think he's a household name by any stretch of the imagination. I think film nerds like us really understand who he is, but I don't think like my mom's going to know who Denis Villeneuve is, so no. But anyway, I mean, yeah, so I'm very excited about this, as I said. So I'm really looking forward to it. So pretty stoked, even if they do have to push it back a couple weeks. So
as am I. They shifted a few other things around, but I can't remember what they were. This was the big one, and it's not a huge shift, but
no, but there others shifted their movies because this movie shifted. So people are aware that this is possible draw. Nobody knows. I do think the book enthusiast will go see this. I honestly do.
Well, no doubt. But I feel like it's going to be, I don't think it's going to do like, I mean, recently, I think the Fast and Furious 9 did like 70 million last weekend. I don't know if it'll do huge number. I mean, I say huge, it's not huge when compared to previous movies that have come out and done well, but
in this day and time it is.
Yeah. I think it'll do well though. How well, we'll see, but
right.
I hope it does. I hope it does at least enough to warrant the sequel, because they filmed this. I think this is like half the book. I don't think it's the full book.
And there's more than one book. There's like, I think there's like 8 or 9 books. So I'm not going to sit here and say I read the books, but I am very aware of the story, mostly because I am a Lynch fan and I learned the story because of the train wreck that his version is. Now there's going to be those people that are like, his version is the better version, but you have really 2 auteurs making both versions. So you really can't go wrong, and whoever wants to fight that battle. It's a strange choice to have David Lynch try to direct such a lofty movie. One of the movies that people say is pretty unfilmable. It's really the technology had to catch up for it to be filmable, I believe. And I'll say Villeneuve, he really does utilize technology in the right ways, in my opinion. Like, he doesn't overwhelm you. Like, you can't see like the world in 2049. You cannot tell that that's not really sets or what, you know what I mean? Like, it's just so gritty and it feels like it's real. So, I'm very excited. I trust him. He hasn't gone wrong in my mind anyway. So very excited about him.
Same.
There's a movie that I know you guys are excited about, and I'm sure some out in the audience are excited. Rian Johnson announced on Twitter he has begun filming Knives Out 2 in Greece. And
on location.
Greece. And they've also added Mr. Ethan Hawke to the cast.
Yeah, and that was a surprise.
Which that intrigues me. I'm not excited about this movie, but I like Ethan Hawke a lot. He's one of the most underrated actors, if you ask me.
This was never reported prior to filming, but the day that they started filming, there were set photos of Ethan Hawke with what is the girl? I think it's the girl from Rachel McAdams. I believe it's her.
Okay.
I think he might be like her husband or something in the movie, but yeah, he was on the yacht that they were filming on, and Dave Bautista's on there with him, and he was like squirting a water gun in Dave Bautista's mouth or something.
Okay.
But yeah, so that's how this news got out. They had never released that in the press, but yeah, I like Ethan Hawke. We talk about this every week with these movies, having stacked casts.
Mm-hmm.
This movie's already got obviously
half of Hollywood.
Yeah, I mean, it's already got
Bautista.
Well, but
Craig,
Bautista,
Daniel
Craig, Edward Norton, Catherine Hahn, Janelle Monáe, Leslie Odom Jr., Kate Hudson. Kate Hudson is who I was trying to think of. Sorry, not Rachel McAdams.
Okay,
Kate Hudson.
We forgive you.
Yeah. So it seems like this is just going to be similar to the first movie. Honestly, a great ensemble cast. And I know you weren't a big fan of the first one, but I'm excited to see where it goes as more of an anthology instead of a sequel. There's only one holdover character. I don't know if the two guys that were the other detectives, I doubt they will because they were local, I'm pretty sure, right? Or were they?
Yeah,
were they local to that area?
I think so. But remember, I liked the
Benoit
one
Blanc was hired as a
yeah, that was my favorite character in the movie.
That guy will likely be in the movie because it's like one of Rian Johnson's buddies.
Yeah, I like him.
He's been in everything that he's ever done, and so
that'd be good.
He'd be in some shape or form.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'll tell you, Ethan Hawke. If you haven't, what's that movie called? The First Reform. That movie was so good. First Reform. That movie was so good that, geez, man, that movie. If you haven't seen that, please go out and see that. But Ethan Hawke is one of those actors that he's so natural. He's so naturally good at acting that it just kind of leaks out of him. He just kind of shows up and does a great performance. He's so good at it. So that intrigues me. That's a mark in the right direction. The Dave Bautista and some of the other cast, I was like, nah. But I'll watch maybe because of Ethan Hawke. So I'm pretty excited about that. Another one of our top filmmakers of choice is making a movie called The Killer, starring. Okay, I'm just gonna put this out there. David Fincher's making a movie, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, with Michael Fassbender and the writer of Seven.
Mm-hmm.
So this piques my interest, and kind of nervous. It's got Netflix involved, so that kind of gives me trepidation.
Have you seen Mank yet?
No, because I canceled Netflix.
Yeah. That's the thing. Like that was such a
I want to
specific
see it. Yeah.
lane of a movie that I was just like, I love David Fincher, but I don't think I'm going to understand this movie if I watch it. Because I have never seen Citizen Kane. I think that's probably a prerequisite to see it. Hey, what's up? Thanks for joining. No worries for being late.
Yeah.
I am excited for any Fincher project. I don't think Mank was going to be for me, so I just wasn't very quick to watch it, even though I did like the cast.
Can you bring that picture of Fincher back up? He looks like one of the puppets off Mr. Rogers right there. It's like, it's just like, hello. It's like, I don't know. It just doesn't look it looks like a Madame Tussauds version. So anyway, sorry. I mean, you're putting all the right ingredients in this for me to be interested. You know, he's got his cinematographer back. His cinematographer's great. He's got the writer from Seven. He's got, it's like he's getting the band back together kind of thing. And now he's got Michael Fassbender in there. Michael Fassbender's in some of the better movies that I've seen in some time. He's pretty darn good actor, and he's in a lot of indie flicks that you should go see. Frank. If you haven't seen Frank, watch Frank.
I like Michael Fassbender a lot.
Paper mache head the whole time. So,
this movie by its little brief synopsis seems like it's going to be very like cerebral. Supposed to like take you into the mind of this like killer character. I mean, I think Fincher is a perfect guy to do a story like that. Even though I haven't seen Mank, I really loved a lot of especially like Mindhunter that he did on Netflix.
Yeah,
that
I didn't
series
watch that.
Is great.
Not because I didn't want to. I just find time for it.
You should. I know you don't have Netflix, but you should.
Yeah.
It is very good. He directs a few episodes, but yeah, he's like the showrunner, I guess you would say, of it. But yeah, it's definitely in that Fincher tone throughout.
Yeah, I think if anybody's interested in this, please leave us a comment. But I think we should watch Citizen Kane and Mank at some point. Not right now, but at some point. I think it's important for everybody to see Citizen Kane eventually, because it really introduced a lot of the camera work and Orson Welles always says that he was just too ignorant to not know how, like he didn't know how a cinematographer should have worked. So he was so ignorant about making a movie that he asked the cinematographer to do things that they shouldn't have been able to do. So I really enjoy that aspect of it. It's one of those gateway movies, and that's why people study it so much, because it introduced so much to Hollywood, a different way to tell stories and stuff. So modern filmmaking has a lot to do with the inspiration from that. Yeah, they have.
So reaction reviews, he's been in the favor of Netflix putting up some good stuff. I think for me personally, they're hit or miss depending on what it is. But like I've really enjoyed a lot of the, like I really enjoyed Marriage Story. As far as movies, I enjoyed Army of the Dead. Obviously, I'm a little biased, but I did enjoy it. And let's see, trying to think. A lot of the stuff, like I just talked about the one that I watched this week that I can't even remember the name of right now. I'd have to go look in the show notes.
I like watching Netflix beg me to come back as a member, and I just keep saying no. It's fun.
Yeah, they put out more throwaway stuff than stuff that demands repeat viewings, but they're also in the business of keeping people subscribed, and they have this thing where they're trying to put, I think, a new movie every week this year.
Yeah, it's crazy amount
out. So, but I feel like the Finchers, and obviously there are a few directors that are going to, they're they're auteur and they're going to put out quality stuff regardless of the platform. And like I said, I think we talked about this last week or the week before with them like testing the waters with Army of the Dead and doing a theatrical 2-week run prior to Netflix drop. I think that's going to open the door for a lot of directors, because Netflix is a place where here's the thing that directors want. They want creative freedom. Netflix has been pretty known to give that to them. They need money to finance the stuff. Netflix has got lots of money. The holdup has been theatrical. All directors usually they want a theatrical release. It's very important to them, and so that's why I think a lot of directors have been hesitant to jump on the streamer specific release model. And I could see Netflix chunking a crap ton of money over to Christopher Nolan and be like, "Hey, you're on the outs with Warner Brothers right now. We'll give you, a month of theatrical release, and then it'll be exclusive on Netflix." I could see them doing that. I don't know if he would take it, but I think it would be appealing because they would give him, carte blanche. They would let him do what he wanted to do.
Oh, yeah, they would. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I will say, we've said it many a time on this show, is that I think Amazon has done the best job so far as movies go. Like, not shows, but just movies.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying every single one of them have been great. They're not like A24 or anything like that.
I'll agree with that. As far as original content, the ones that I've seen on Amazon have been of higher quality than a lot of the ones I've seen. But they do
release them in theaters. Netflix. The majority of them, they do put them in theaters first. So it is one of those things. So that, there may be some truth to what you're saying about people having reluctancy to release until they have that right, because there are a lot of these directors that are still from the old school. This is all new for a lot of them, and it's new to a lot of us being able to watch stuff immediately from our favorite directors. But I think a lot of them are like, there's a lot of bands out there still that feel like they need a record deal. No, you don't need a record deal anymore, so it's that kind of thing. I think they still feel like, if it's not in theaters, it's not a real movie. So, and there are a lot of people in the audience that feel that way too. So, I find myself thinking that sometimes, to be honest with you. I hate to see it.
Reaction Reviews is asking if we've seen an Amazon Prime movie in theaters. I haven't. I don't think. I know their first big movie that they put out was the Manhattan or Manchester by the Sea.
Yeah,
that was their first big purchase. That was a theatrical run, and then it ended up coming to Prime.
Yeah.
Didn't see that one in theaters. The one that Kumail Nanjiani did, loosely based on he and his wife's story.
Oh yeah.
I didn't see that one in theaters, but I did see it on Prime. But yeah, I don't think I've ever seen one of their
Big Sick is one you're talking about. Yeah,
Big Sick. Which is great.
I don't know that I've seen one in theaters either. I'm looking through the list. No, but I'm surprised you haven't seen Patterson yet, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet.
I did watch Suspiria, but not in the theater. Anyway. But no, I haven't seen a Netflix movie.
So no, we have not.
So what?
I've only seen.
What Netflix movies have you guys seen in theaters?
I don't know how many they've put. As far as
I'm guessing, Army of the Dead.
I think Army was the first like wide release.
I think so.
Irishman had a limited release, like New York, LA, and same thing for like Roma and things like that, just for like Oscar qualifications.
Yeah.
But I don't think there's been any other ones to my knowledge.
Yeah, Army of the Dead. Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that's something that, like I said, I think that's what they're going to try and do moving forward for the bigger ones, for the bigger tentpole ones that they put out.
Yeah, I remember Nani said she saw Army of Dead too as well in the theater. So,
yeah.
Well, speaking of taking it from the big screen down to the small screen, they're making an Alien TV show.
This is something that I think we've talked about prior.
A little bit here and
I
there.
think
Yeah.
Noah Hawley is doing it.
And it'll be about inequality, and it won't feature Ripley. So,
which is honestly probably for the best as far as
I'm fine if it doesn't. Yeah, I'm fine if it doesn't have
element.
Ripley.
The inequality thing seems like they're taking the approach of how the first two movies. It's like these jobs that they had on these ships were for expendable people, and that's, if you when I read the article, that seemed to be that that's what they were going to kind of explore. More of that, but they were going to do it. I think he said instead of the first two movies were more this is the part that kind of was like, all right, is this the direction that we should go with the TV show? I don't know. He said something about they're on these like tight quarters, location based, like as far as the ships that these movies take place.
Right.
And he wanted to move into, he didn't say what it would be, but that it was going to be a little different in structure and setting, versus, like I said, like Alien and Aliens were on the ship. There's a creature on the ship and they're trying to survive.
Yeah. I just think that I love the movie Alien. Aliens is okay. I know a lot of people feel the reciprocal of that, but I personally like Alien more than Aliens. After that, it's a bankrupt. It's really just not a good.
Speaking of Fincher, I've never seen Alien 3. I own it, but
I've watched a little bit of it. It's just, Winona Ryder's in one of these, and I haven't. I still don't think it's a good movie, and I like Winona Ryder, but I don't think they keep, I think Hollywood folk get involved in these movies and they think it's about a big monster or whatever, but it's about way more than that. And, there's the xenomorphs and such. And I appreciate what Ridley Scott tried to do with Prometheus. Wasn't the biggest fan of that personally. Not for any reason here or there, just wasn't what I was really wanting. And I got, we've talked about it on here. I got jacked about Covenant coming out and it was dog poop. I don't know. I just
good. Like that movie, and I haven't returned to it since we saw it in theaters. And that's
I tried watching it again.
That I own, but I haven't watched it again.
I tried.
I was so out of that movie after the first half.
Yeah.
I feel like it turned into the movie that I wanted it to be at the end, but I was already checked out and didn't care anymore.
That scene, the scene in that movie, the shower scene where the tail comes up and penetrates the person and all of that stuff. And that's just not what Alien is, Alien. It's just not that. It's not that, creeping up on you and stuff. It was more of like, hey, how can we make the xenomorph look cool and things like that, instead of, hey, let's get a good story behind it. And the girl with the haircut, she was awful. I believe you're correct. Yes. And thanks for that note. And but yeah, I don't know. The girl with the haircut was just not my favorite actress. I don't remember her name. But that, I don't know if it was just bad directing. Huh?
Wasn't it Newt?
Yeah,
the kid.
No, the girl in the Covenant.
In Covenant.
The lady with the curly kind of boy cut or whatever, however you want to say it. Anyway, so I'm there were some cool little like things they did with the xenomorph, but it was just like, okay. Like, all right, you can make the xenomorph do that. Whereas in Alien, you can definitely tell it's a guy in a suit going like that, and it's still 10 times more interesting. You can get past that because the story is there, so it's a good time. Anyway, I'll give it a shot. I will give it a shot. I'm always a sucker for something alien. I want it to be good, but man, I've been let down so many times by this franchise. It's just so unfortunate. So,
yeah, I was really bummed whenever Blomkamp didn't.
I was so bummed about that. That and RoboCop. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Don't even get me started.
But what are you gonna do?
Well, one director that has not let me down had a movie coming out during the lockdown. It's supposed to be debuting at cons. And before that even debuts, he's already ready to go into his next movie, and that's Wes Anderson. And it's going to have Tilda Swinton. It's going to film in Spain later this year. So that ought to be interesting. So Tilda Swinton's one of those actors.
What is the, was it French
Dispatch?
Dispatch. I was going to say French Laundry. I was like, nope, that's not it.
It has Timothée Chalamet, Bill Murray, Benicio del Toro, Adrian Brody, and Tilda Swinton's in that as well. Frances McDormand. I mean, it's stacked cast, but I don't know, man. I find his movies quirky and fun. I took a girl to see Life Aquatic, and she got mad at me, like in the theater. So that was another. she was mad at me that I took her there. Why did we go see that? So that didn't work out.
I feel her pain. I'm not a big fan of this guy, but it's just not for me.
Yeah, I like.
Here's the thing: I respect his craft. He definitely has a style.
Definitely,
and as far as filmmaking, he's one of those directors that you see any scene from a movie of his and you're like, yep, that's Wes Anderson. Like, he's just got a very distinct style, and I appreciate that and respect it. It's just not his movies have never really grabbed me in a way that I'm like, it's just, I don't know. It just seems a little, I don't want to say pretentious, but that's probably what I would say.
It's fine if you say pretentious.
As far as
we wear that as a badge of honor, us Wes Anderson fans. They do put all of his movies on Criterion.
I enjoyed Grand Budapest Hotel probably more than any of the other ones that I've seen.
That's a good one.
His.
That's a good one.
And I bought it, but
on Criterion.
Yeah, not on Criterion.
Man,
I did buy it.
Why do you hurt me so bad? No, I again, he's like Tarantino to me. This the new movie that he's filming will actually be his 11th movie, which is odd. So Tarantino is going to let go at 10 technically. But yeah, Wes Anderson, I haven't disliked a movie of his yet. I think Royal Tenenbaums might be my favorite. Oh my gosh. Nani, do we just become best friends?
Copacetic here.
I'm telling you. I didn't even know you were going to say that. You just finishing my sentences now. So Royal Tenenbaums is probably my favorite. Gene Hackman in that movie is freaking hilarious. And Danny Glover. They're freaking hilarious. So, but the thing I like about his movies are one of those, it's kind of like I was talking about PTA. They're heart-wrenchingly hilarious. Like they have such a heart-wrenching backstory, but he does them in such a quirky way that they're funny. So it is definitely an acquired taste. I'm not going to sit here and say that just anybody can sit down and watch Life Aquatic or Rushmore. I think Rushmore is probably his most accessible movie. But still, I don't think, the average moviegoer is going to like it. There we go.
Yeah. It's one of those things where
yes, it does.
I won't not watch his movies.
All the David
I'll still
Bowie
watch,
songs.
and I'll watch anything. I'll give it a shot. But it's not something that I'll.
You said that out. Like you were being threatened. I'll watch anything. I'll watch anything. Don't hurt the kids. Well, let's talk about some stuff that we have a lot of trailers that have dropped this week. So let's talk about those and get out of here. Halloween Kills. Are you a Halloween fan, Brandon?
Nope. I'm wondering if we should hold this until Ryan is back because he loves Halloween.
Who cares?
But
he stabbed us in the back with basketball.
Screw him. Halloween Kills. The trailer dropped this week.
Yeah. Did you watch it?
Yeah, I watched the trailer.
Yeah,
I didn't see the last one.
I have to admit, I didn't see the last one either, just because I was like, oh, okay. The Rob Zombie Halloween movies kind of killed me on Halloween. I know these are different. Everybody calm down. But you go ahead and tell Ryan, Nani. You go ahead. Because we'll show him the video and text later. So anyway, this intrigued me. This made me want to see the newest one. Actually, I think this looks like they're going to treat it properly. I'm not the biggest Jamie Lee Curtis fan, not any way or the other. Like I said, she was my least favorite part of Knives Out. But yeah, I mean, this actually made me want to watch and intrigue me. But the title, Halloween Kills, I hate. It's a silly title.
What was the last one? Was it the last one just Halloween, or was it?
Yeah, it was just Halloween. I think it was just Halloween, because it was technically Halloween 2 or 3, because
I think it was. Yeah,
I think because they murdered
successor. They ignored like the last.
Yeah,
3, 4, 5. I don't know.
They were just like whatever. So
they pulled the
so yeah,
Terminator Dark Fate and just went from T2 to most recent.
Yeah, but this actually did it right. It looks like so. It's like so. Yeah, no, I'll say I'm gonna go and watch the newest one now. So
yeah, I don't know anything about. I know that Danny McBride is a creative on this new iteration, and his partner, which I can't think of his name at the moment, but the guy that he writes everything with, Jonah something maybe, I can't remember, but anyway, yep, it's not a franchise I've ever been invested in, but I did watch the trailer, and the trailer looked fun, so that's all I got.
Yeah, whatever. All right, so now we have Schmigadoon.
Schmigadoon.
Do we need to spend much time? Are you excited about this?
We don't have to.
I'm not excited about this at all.
I just put it on there because it was a musical and you love musicals. So.
I turned it off after they started. I was like, oh my God, this is what this is. I'm done. And at the title, it's kind of lended.
It's they get caught in a musical, so it's
right. Yeah,
it turns it on its head a little bit.
I don't find that cute.
Okay. Well,
Foundation.
I'm sorry.
I mean,
now did you watch the trailer for Foundation?
I watched 20 seconds of it and I was done.
All right. Well, we're going to talk about it on CapeCast, so we can skip it.
Okay. The Many Saints of Newark. Brandon, how's that Sopranos watch going? You gonna be ready?
I'm gonna go ahead and say no, but I'm gonna watch this movie regardless.
Okay.
Because it's a prequel, and technically, I shouldn't have to know too much about the future if it's a prequel. I know who these characters are in relation to the show. I know that Dickie is Christopher's dad. I know that the other guy, I don't think he's in that picture, but or maybe he is Tony's dad. And then I know that they got somebody playing what's
Uncle
the guy
Junior?
that Junior? Yeah, Junior's in it. I can't remember who Bernthal is playing. It
looks like he'll be Big Puss, but I can't tell. I mean,
yeah, I don't know.
Who knows? All I'm doing is looking at the haircut. That's all I'm doing. I will say this looks better than I thought it was going to look. I'll watch it. Don't know how I'm going to feel about it afterwards, but I'll watch it. So see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, I have enough knowledge of Sopranos that I think I'll still be able to enjoy this as long as it's good.
I don't know that this is a theater trip for me, but I'll watch it. All right, you got Jolt. This one you want to hold for Cape Cast?
No, I mean,
okay. It's basically those movies that she made, just in with a different story, and you know, she's a kick butt chick that has.
Yeah, this seems to be another, you know, Atomic Blonde-ish type.
Yeah.
You know,
put a pretty lady in tight clothes and have her beat up people.
It honestly looked, didn't really look that great to me. It didn't look like the action choreography was. I mean, if you're gonna do a movie like this, you at least gotta sell me on the action element. And when it doesn't look like she can pull off this action, which she's historically been able to in like the Underworld franchises. But this just, I mean, she's almost 50 now. She still looks awesome. But as far as her being an action hero, it just wasn't believable. This is not one that I'm really interested in, but it is on Prime, so it'll be included in your Prime subscription. If it gets reviewed well, I might check it out. But I don't think it's, by the trailer, didn't do much for me.
Yeah. Not my jam, but we'll move on. Beckett. You excited about Beckett?
Now, I'm curious if this movie is called Beckett or Becky, because they call him Becky in the trailer. I wonder if the T's are silent.
I thought they called him.
Unless Becky is a nickname.
Maybe. Yeah, it's weird to see Alicia Vikander just kind of as a
supporting
side character. Yeah, it's kind of surprising, but this looks interesting. I made the joke that this looks like a prequel to Tenet, but I mean, to a certain degree. But I'll it's on Netflix, so I probably won't watch it, because I don't have Netflix. Yeah, it's interesting. I don't know if it's exciting to me, but I don't know. Nothing. I mean, it looked like it had a good story. It kind of felt like, oh shoot, what's that old movie with Harrison Ford, the book and everything? Darn it,
Clear
brain.
Present Danger.
No. The Fugitive.
Fugitive.
Yeah.
Fugitive,
yeah. It feels like The Fugitive a little bit, but a little just with a different twist. So has same kind of I don't know. How are you feeling about this one?
I thought it looked good, except for John David Washington. I just don't think I'm a fan.
He's your favorite.
I don't think he's a great actor. Let's be honest.
Okay.
He wasn't Denzel's son, we wouldn't be talking about him. I don't think
Hollywood is all about nepotism, my friend.
Yeah, he just doesn't convince me so far, what I've seen him in, that he's...
I'm not saying he's a great actor. I thought he was serviceable in Tenet. He looks weird without a beard. I'll say.
I think he has the physicality. I just don't think he has the acting chops.
Sure.
So I wish it was like an Idris Elba type, someone that just could do the physicality, but also was a great actor. I just don't think he's there yet. And maybe he will be at some point. So right now he's still pretty green for me.
Well, there is one more. Mandibles.
Speaking of Cronenberg,
I'm very excited about this one. This one looks fun to me.
Well, it's not in English.
Yes. So
strike one.
Check. Check.
The thing is, and this is the only reason that I will say strike one, because it seems to be marketed as a comedy, But with it not being in English, you lose a lot of that comedic value to me because I'm not going to be able to understand like inflection, and I'll be reading jokes versus, like there's a lot to say about timing and getting jokes in your own native tongue. To me, like I feel like a lot of that is lost when it's not in a language that you can understand, or it's in British.
Number one reason. So if Brandon loses a bet, he's gonna have to watch this one.
But I will say, other than that, this movie looked kind of cool. Like it looked super weird and interesting. So it's got a very like The Fly meets like Honey, I Shrunk the Kids kind of like vibe to it, with this like comedy road trip element. I don't know. But yeah, I dug it.
I'm excited. This movie, I can't think of the band name right now. I'll have to think of it later, but there's it's a band that I actually listen to. I just can't think of it. But anyway, this reminded me of one of their music videos, and it took me right back there. The way they have this little fly acting like a pet dog or whatever in there intrigued me. And I'm not afraid to watch and read my movies. So,
I'm not afraid of it. I can do it. I just feel like for a comedy,
I don't mean you're afraid. I shouldn't have used afraid. I should have said I'm not opposed. I should say.
Not opposed either. I said that I wanted to watch it, but I just feel like there's going to be a little bit lost when it comes to like it being a comedy. I think it works better when it's a drama,
maybe,
or anything. But there's something that you miss.
It's a French movie, so that intrigues me a little bit because the French folks go all out when it comes to cinema. So very intrigued. So move past that. We do have a couple of movies coming out this week. We have No Sudden Move, The Tomorrow War. Today. Yes. And The Tomorrow War, and Boss Baby.
Boss Baby. I'm the boss baby, but I'm the boss, just the baby boss. Yep, that one.
We just got a copyright strike because it sounded so much like it.
I sure did. Yeah, my daughter watches the Boss Baby show, so I hear that theme song quite a bit.
Okay, there's a show. Okay. Yeah, I think this is also going to be on Peacock, the movie as well, if I'm not mistaken. Because I have Peacock and they always advertise it, so I don't know if that means it's going to be on there.
I don't know. I thought Boss Baby was Universal, but I could be wrong.
Maybe. Well, NBC version.
Oh yeah, that's true. Okay. So yeah, 45 days after release, then it'll be on Peacock.
So, No Sudden Move. That's the one I'm interested in seeing. Tomorrow War. I mean, if I catch it, if somebody wants to watch it and I'm in the room, I'm not going to oppose to seeing it, but I'm not going to seek out seeing it by myself either. Boss Baby. I mean, I should say it's the first one I'm really excited about, but.
True. Yes. I will see all of these, not this week, but I will see No Sudden Move maybe tonight, but at this point, probably doubtful. It'll probably be tomorrow night before I get to see it. I'm really excited for that, and I've heard really good things about it. And Tomorrow War, I've also heard good things about. So I'm excited for both of those. Hopefully, I can get both of them in. Boss Baby, I've seen the first one. I thought the first one was actually surprisingly good in terms of what I expected it to be.
How was it?
For a kids movie, it's actually pretty funny, and this one probably will just not be as great. And I wouldn't even say that it was great, but for a kids movie, it's not like Pixar level, but it was. I think it's DreamWorks, and it's it was one of the better ones. But this one, I don't know. I don't have any stake in the game. I'm sure that Luna will enjoy it. But we'll probably end up taking her to the theater to see it at some point, I imagine.
Oh my god!
But I am legitimately excited for No Sudden Move and the Tomorrow War, and I think I've talked about Tomorrow War just because I really like Chris McKay, and I loved what he did in animation, and I'm just excited to see what he does with a live action directorial debut. So,
well, I have a feeling that we'll end up reviewing at least one of these movies. So if anybody wants to see us review any of these movies, please let us know. We'll be glad to pass that along.
Vote Boss Baby.
Yeah. I'm such a completionist. I'll have to go back and watch the whole series and everything.
There's a lot of content with the Boss Baby.
Now is the perfect time, Brandon, for us to commit to all three of us reviewing something that Ryan really doesn't want to see. So anything we can
Boss Baby.
I don't want to see that either. So I don't want to put myself under that train. But yeah. So let's get some comments of what we should. No Sudden Move and Boss Baby. Okay. All right. So you want to see us do reviews of both of those? All right.
Bring Luna in.
Yeah. There we go. We'll just have children versions of each one of us come in.
Just crap on it in front of her.
It was terrible. Why is he doing it, Daddy? So yeah. So anyway, well, Brandon, we've had a pretty good show. In all reality, we do miss Ryan. Ryan will be back whenever he decides that the Hawks are not as, I guess, good as us or not a higher priority than us. So,
whenever he realizes that Dikembe Mutombo is not on the team anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
He'll be back.
Yes. I want everybody to make sure that you get all your friends to comment in the comment section that Ryan really hurt you all, because I think this is a real just real thumbing of the nose to everybody that tunes into our show. Just kidding around. Ryan, we totally understand. Miss you, buddy. And we'll hopefully see you next week. And we'll all be here to review and talk about a bunch of different movies. But Brandon, you want to tell them where they can find us?
Well, you can find us online at cinemachinepod.com.
Yeah.
Obviously, you find us here on YouTube. You're here. Welcome.
Yeah. Yeah.
You've already found us. Good job.
Yeah. Good job.
Yeah. Hit that subscribe button. Hit the notification bell so you know when we're going live, etc., etc. We're on Twitter, we're on Instagram, we're on Facebook, and we're on Patreon. All that stuff you can find at CineMachine Pod. That's it.
Yeah. And also, Monday night, I'm going to be on the semifinals of the Disney, what's it called? Disney Showdown? Disney.
I'm just going to let you do this. Let you do it.
Butcher it.
I can help you. I can tell you what it is. I'm just going to let you take it.
We'll put some information out on those channels that we just talked about via social.
He's going to be on Disney Movie Fights over at Default Pan's Twitch channel.
Go. Yeah, so
which is our good buddy Britt.
Yeah,
that's his channel.
He's beardless now, so it's going to be weird to see him. So without the beard. However, I'm going up against some different folks this time, so I need everybody to be on there rooting me along if you can. I'm representing the team, whether Brandon and Ryan like it or not. So anyway, so it'd be good to see some familiar names over there. So, all right,
well,
folks.
Best of luck to you, Al. We're rooting for you.
Thanks. Yeah, don't
bring us home the gold.
Yeah, I'll try. Well, this time they're going in completely blind. So have no precursor as to what's happening. So we'll see what happens.
Interesting.
So, yeah. So Brandon, anything else you want to add before we get out of here?
I don't think so. Appreciate everybody tuning in, and we'll see you next week.
Yeah, we'll see you all on the next.
Be sure to check out the Al's Criterion Corner videos so you can learn how to fold plastic, and come check us out over at Cape Cast. We'll be doing another Monday 8:30 show.
I just
complaining about WB and crying about no more Snyder content.
Movies in plastic. It's all the rage, man.
It's the way. Yeah, it's a wave of the future.
It's all the rage, man. All right. Well, I'm gonna go read this book and watch many, many movies. And I hope everybody has a great 4th of July. We'll see you all on the next CiNEMACHiNE.